What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wellness Week Live again and again and again and again and again and again and again. It's Mommy Mondays, and I'm wearing my best clothing for Mommy Mondays. Oh, I actually bought this. I spent money. You don't even want to know what I spent on this. It's not cheap. Okay, so Steph, thank you again for joining me on Mommy Mondays. A very important topic, anything to do with family and moms and dads and things like that. How's it going, Steph?
So much better this week than last week.
We were saying off camera, yo, you were down and out, son. It was like 1, 2, 3. So I appreciate you muscling it and getting through your whatever the heck you had there, SARS, COVID, meningitis, bursitis. Who knows? I mean, no one's allowed to be sick anymore. You can't just be regular sick because that's not cool. So have you noticed that? No one's sick anymore. It's either, you got the Rona or that's it. Like, everything's been cured. No more cancer, no more tuberculosis, no more meningitis, no more bronchitis, no more flu, no more cold. So it's like, whoa, dude, no one can, you're not allowed to be just normal sick.
So my husband did have COVID actually. And I tested negative, but I still was sick. So I think I just had
regular cold. Yeah.
Like a sinus infection or a regular cold or whatever it was. Right. And we had it at the same time, which was confusing, but yeah.
Yeah. Last week, I said a novena for you. My Padre Santo Spirito Nome, cosa sia, io da mia amiga.
Hopefully I wasn't at that point.
I mean, you were like putting the IV, you're like, hold on, Aunt, let me get it. Okay.
I was drinking my emergency,
like the saline solution on. I heard the beeps in the background. Beep, 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 beep.
We're full service here.
Right, man. By the way, before we get into the topics, I just bought it. Did I tell you? I don't know. I've been like raving about this air purifier I purchased. Did you have an air purifier?
You mentioned it to me. You sent me the link.
Yeah, I mean, air purifier is not a silver bullet. It's not going to cure anything. But I mean, my mind. So first off, I got the air filter because I'm a pretty neat, clean guy. But I was just like cleaning my house and like Windexing the windows, and the windows look clean. But I was like, oh, Windex them, and I was like, oh, damn, there's like a black film on my paper towel. I'm like, wait a second, I'm probably breathing that crap in too. So I was like, you know what, I probably should get. And they, you read studies and stuff, and they say that that especially in the winter months that the air in our homes is dirtier than the air from outside because we're not opening the windows and whatever. So I went to Amazon, of course, and I just got some, the air filter that I forwarded you, a HEPA filter. It was pretty inexpensive, about $99 or whatever. But I mean, I can't say like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I mean, I feel amazing regardless. But my point is, why breathing crappy air if you don't have to? It's the same thing like filtered water. I mean, if you can, why not? So anyways, but.
It's on my list.
I don't know how we got onto that, but it's part of Wellness Week. So today's topics are, which we would have done last week, but we got caught up in that topic of what we were talking about last week. And that is, so this week is, should our children receive participation awards for just participating in sports or clubs or whatever? That's the first topic. And topic number 2 is advice for new mommies. So I have some friends and acquaintances and colleagues that are, just becoming new moms. And I was like, wow, it's a beautiful thing. Congratulations. And it's like, wow, and we can go down memory lane for you as a mother. That must be a lot on a mom, like, especially your firstborn, birth is special, even if it's your 7th child, but the first one, your first kid, that has to be life-changing is an understatement, I'm sure, especially for the mother. Dad, of course, but mom, it's like, I guess we could probably touch on this first then, since I'm already getting into it. But I mean, we take for granted in America that, oh yeah, she had a baby. Like, go on whatever website you want to go on. Hundreds of mothers die every year simply giving birth. Yeah. And this is not some third world country or some hospital's not a good hospital, anywhere in America. It doesn't matter. New York City, Miami, Dallas, wherever you can be a trillionaire. Doesn't matter. A woman's giving birth, that's a dangerous situation. And we take for granted right out of the gate that moms put it on the line to give us life. So, I mean, it's like, wow. And then it doesn't stop there. I know I'm preaching to the choir but it's like you then have to deal with everything, hormones, your body, the changes, carrying the baby. Now the baby's out of your body. And I'm sure this is the big reason I always say Mother's Day is bigger than Father's Day. That alone that right out of the gate, mothers deserve. Yeah, and they do, right? Mother's Day is a much bigger. I always say, you want to get a restaurant for Mother's Day, you got to book a month in advance. Father's Day, you can call the morning of and go to the diner. You're good to go. It's like, and nothing against dads. Dads are important. Dads are great. But let's be honest. I mean, again, you're putting it on the line, your life and your mental health, your physical health. I mean, so many other diseases like diabetes can happen to a woman. Postpartum depression can happen. I mean, so many different things can happen, even if the birth is successful. So what advice, Steph, you're a mom, you gave birth. What advice would you give a new mommy who just gave birth this week? What would you say to them?
Well, first, thank you for acknowledging all of that, because a lot of people, especially men,
a lot of men don't get it.
They don't get it.
Right.
So thank you for saying all the things that you just said, first of all. But yeah, everything that you just said is spot on. So the first thing I'm going to tell new or parents to be would be everything that you have planned, everything that you expect, toss it out the window. It's not going to happen that way.
Right.
Not going to happen that way.
So it's like a fight. It's like when someone gets ready for a big boxing match. You can strategize all you want, train all you want.
All you want.
But once you get punched in the face, those plans go out the window. Now you're in a fight. Correct. So it kind of, and again, it's an analogy. Obviously, you're not fighting your kid. But so you're saying that a mommy, particularly mommies, I'm looking to have the advice for that you can give them, because again, like they're the one, I get it, dads too. But let's be honest, the mother's got to do a lot more than the father has to do, especially in those beginning months and maybe a year or so, whatever. So your plans, throw them out the window. What else would you tell a mommy that just gave birth this week or today or whatever?
Well, first of all, don't wash all the clothes. Don't cut off all the tags on all the clothes that you got from the shower. You will not use them all. You're going to return most of them. But if you cut the tags off, you can't do that. So leave them on, wash as you go.
Okay.
The outfits are cute. I'm not going to use them all. That's just to lighten things up.
Right.
Okay. But trust your gut. Even from, yeah, I mean, even from very early on, there are just things as a mom that that nobody else knows, not even your doctor. Noelle was like 4 months old, and she was breaking out in these like full body rashes. I didn't know why. And then I was just paying attention to it, and I noticed that it happened around my mom, and she was over all the time. So, I talked to her about it, and my mom wore fragrance all the time. So she stopped wearing that. Noelle was still getting a rash, so I was like, oh, what's this all about? So then I said, you know what? I bet she's allergic to my mother's cats.
Oh.
It's got to be that.
Right.
So I took her to the pediatrician. I told him what was going on. And he was like, no, this is too young. Usually allergies don't show up until much later on. And I was like, I'm telling you, she's allergic to cats. So he said, you know what, we're going to need to do some blood work just to make sure that we know what we're dealing with and how we need to, proceed. And she's due for some blood work anyway. So let's just do it. Checked for a bunch of stuff. Everything came back negative, except she was allergic to cats.
Right.
So
mother knows best.
Yeah. You have to trust your gut instinct. A lot of times, that's the most accurate thing. And if you feel like you need to go get a second opinion,
right.
You can do that.
Right. Yeah. Funny you mentioned that, because too, I think maybe mothers discredit themselves saying, right, that they do know, if not better, they know, because again, that baby was you, like it was in your body. Like who else knows it's like, your hand, your arm, your this was part of you. So I wouldn't discredit yourself, moms out there, listen to your doctor. But yeah, I mean, and by the way, we're not giving any medical advice or
no
legal advice, just talking as friends here, but as we do in every show. Okay. So, trust your gut instinct, check with your doctor. So again, I guess also too, every child is different. Every birth is different. But I mean, for you, like, did you, I don't know. I could imagine if I were a woman and pregnant, I'd be stir crazy. I mean, did you want to like, I don't know, okay, like get out of the house, or did your sleep improve because now you can sleep on your stomach? I don't know. How does that work?
No, actually, you know what, Anthony, the first 4 months were really dark for me. I didn't have postpartum, you know, like for real. I think it was, the first 2 weeks I was going through that like big hormonal change. And that was a tough time. But after that, my daughter had such bad reflux, she wouldn't sleep.
Uh,
And,
so she was keeping you guys up. Yeah,
not us, me, I was the one who was staying up because my husband had to work.
I see.
And, I was with her all day and all night, and it was very lonely,
Right.
very isolating, stay-at-home moms, work from home moms, you're by yourself and you don't have any adult interaction. You're with this little baby. And, even when they're cute and they're, no trouble at all, it's just you and them. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, your mind is just going and you have nobody. You realize you literally are by yourself.
And you're responsible for this life. Like, this is not a joke. This is not.
Yeah.
This is not a goldfish. This is.
And you feel terrible. You feel guilty for feeling bad that that you want to go out, that you want to, do something else, that you want help, but you shouldn't, but that is the way that you feel. You feel that guilt.
Hence why maybe if a woman is going through postpartum depression, or some kind of variation of it, it can get dangerous because, right, maybe the woman doesn't want to go or is embarrassed to go seek help, as we've talked about in other shows here. I wonder, I'm assuming there is like online Zoom chat rooms where women can, get together and talk about their experiences as new moms. I'm sure that's out there somewhere, but
Yeah, probably. I mean,
a
more
good
so
tool.
probably now.
Yeah, it's a good tool
You
for
know,
sure, right? Because you can't get out, right? So it's like this is not the 1980s where you had it now you can just go on your computer, and I'm sure, yeah, there are chat rooms or whatever, Zoom classes, and thank God. I mean, that's one thing that technology is good for. So yeah, and now, again, too, not to downplay the dad's role or the partner's role. I mean, they are in oftentimes a lot of stress too, good stress, but nonetheless stress. But yeah, but the mom's the front line. I know, mom is the person who gave birth, is the frontline soldier. Everything else is support staff. And again, support staff is important, but this is why I want to do the show, is what advice can we give for those new mommies? And
yeah,
I guess too, again, every woman's different. Every situation is different. I get that. But kind of touching on your point when you said, it's just you and this baby, and maybe you had a career prior, or you were always being intellectually stimulated, you were whatever, an accountant, an engineer, a teacher, a lawyer, whatever, you were in the arts, and now you know yeah, it has to be tough because you can't have a conversation, like cuckoo,
yeah,
you're watching cartoons or whatever,
yeah,
lullabies for 20 hours straight, it's like, and everyone's different. Some women might love that, but I would say don't beat yourself up if like kind of you alluded to it. It's okay that maybe you feel stressed or not fulfilled intellectually. That's normal. I would imagine. Even maybe for a dad, but uh, yeah, that's got to be tough. To, and again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's interesting too, right? That I think a lot of, not all men, but a lot of men don't have that particular situation because, like you had just said, well, your husband's out at work. They have a different type of difficulty, but having
yeah,
that mental stimulation is not there. It's gone now, or for the moment at least, whatever. And so, I know there are some people in my circle, women, who look down on, like, oh well, those women want to go to work and this and that, and as I've gotten older, I was like, I used to kind of also look down on that. I'm like, oh, why would a woman want to go back to work? And hopefully you live and learn and you mature, and I think I have, and I have a new appreciation for that. Also, having been a parent myself and all, like, yeah, it's a lot to stay home, and we're human too. Mothers, fathers, but in this case it's mommy Mondays. Mothers have their, as much as they love their child, you have your hopes and dreams and intellectual things you want to pursue, and now you put that on the back burner, or you give it up altogether. And that's got to be hard in a way, you know. And again, I'm sure some dads do that, but I think more oftentimes it's the mothers that do that. And it's got to be really difficult because it's like, you know, we're not some koala in a tree. You know, we're humans. We have multifaceted interests in our brains and our intellect. You know, we want to be stimulated having a conversation, and those things are, you know, moms choose, of course, to have that child, but nonetheless, it's got to be difficult because, again, like you said, there's no adult stimulation there. You know, it's
Yeah, it's
very,
tough.
very, very, very difficult for mothers. And my point is, um, if a mother can and wants to work from home or go back to work, that's amazing. You know, and I think it's a healthy thing too. You know, if it's what they want, but they also want to just stay home and they're happy with that, and, you know, that's fine too if you can do that. But anyways, I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say, but whatever.
And listen, it's a hard choice either way, right? Because if you're a mom, you know, and I talk to women on both sides of this fence, right? The women who go to work, they feel guilty because they're not at home with their kids. And the ones that are at home, you know, they sometimes feel guilty that they're not out working,
Right.
you know,
Or
helping
they
with the
want that
bills.
stimulation of working on a project with other adults. I mean, you can't.
Yeah,
Again, not every woman, but there's so much goo goo gaga you can do all day. You know,
yeah,
like you're an adult, you want to have some kind of intellectual stimulus. Again,
yes.
not everybody, but to the women that do want that, or men. I mean, it's just like, yeah, it's got to be tough.
And what happens a lot of times, you know, is when you talk about that stuff with your friends or, you know, even with your spouse, a lot of times the response is, you know, you have no idea how lucky you are to be able to stay at home. And
Right, like that.
yeah,
That's so easy, right? Like that's just like a vacation.
you
Uh,
know, it is fortunate, right? Like it's a blessing too. Don't get me wrong. You
right,
wouldn't
but
trade
it has
that.
its own difficulties too.
Yes. And that's the, you know, and that's the part because a lot of people like to downplay that.
Right.
And then as a mom, you feel even worse about yourself,
Yeah.
you know? So,
I would
yeah.
say in many ways, being a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad is harder than going out to work in the office or the field. I mean, and I had a little bit of that in my earlier years with you know, my family, and yeah, it's tough. It's a different type of difficulty. It's a different type of strain. So when you hear someone's a stay-at-home mom, it's a tough job. You know, like I said, I had a taste of
Yeah.
that, and it ain't easy. I'd be like, no, I'd rather be at the office. You know, so kudos, shout out to stay-at-home moms, and I
Yeah.
don't even know if the phrase "stay-at-home mom" is even a good moniker. You know, yeah, it's you know, I would say it's corporation management. That's what you're doing. You know, but yeah. And big shout out to any parent that's staying home, moms or dads. But anyways, so all right, is there anything you want to add to that? Because I know I'm looking at the time. I want to get on to participation awards here for our children.
You know what I would just say to all moms, regardless of how old your kids are, and this was one of the things that I didn't do, and this was a mistake. Make time for yourself. You know, every day make
Self-care.
a little time for yourself. Every week make a little time for yourself. Um, you know, you have to fill your cup up to be able to take care of everybody else. And if you're not good to yourself, you're not going to be good to anyone else. So, you know, make sure that you do that. And if you're a dad listening or grandparent listening, you know, make that possible for that mommy in your life because it's important.
Yeah, it truly is a team effort. You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, not to think that right back to, oh well, she's got an easy job, she's home. Again, that's a lot. You know, like, dude, come home and bro, men, you cook, okay? She shouldn't be cooking or whatever if it's inverse. You know, like whatever it is, like yeah, that person's home, they're working. You know, don't be fooled. So like, if you come home and, you know, don't expect dinner to be on the table. You do the dinner, dude. Go bring it home or whatever. If the father's staying home, then, you know, the partner, the wife, the partner, you come home and you cook. You know, because
Yeah.
they've been working all day too, or work out some schedule. Anyways, okay, good enough, fair enough. So participation awards. You know, when I just the phrase makes me want to vomit. You know, but you know, you know, I was a former teacher. I'm a coach now, and parent too. And you know, it's funny. I think most of the children, I know for a fact, most of the children that get these participation awards, they know what's up. They said it to my face. Like, I didn't even earn this. Like, so I'm like, who are we fooling here, parents? You know, coach. I don't know. So, okay, what's your take on participation awards, Steph, for children, tweens, teens?
So participation awards for me,
Yeah, for you. What's your opinion? My opinion.
My opinion. I I think they're great when kids are young. Like when they're small, you're not really keeping score yet, and they're on those teams. It's about, learning the game, learning the rules, having fun. Then I think a participation award is great. I think it ups the excitement, all of that. Once you start keeping scores on teams, you're right. The kids know who won, who lost,
Yeah.
all of that. What I like to see is I like to see, in each team, I like to see that most valuable player award. That's a given. But I also like to see the most improved award because I think you need to recognize that. And then if there's like a sportsmanship award, that's great too, because you could strive to be any one of those things, even if you're not the best player.
Right.
But other than that, I think you have to honor it for what it is. If you didn't win,
That's it.
you
There's
didn't
got to be
win.
W's and L's.
That's it. That's
All
it.
right. And you, by the way, I mean, nobody's probably lost more than I have, in sports and life. No, you win a lot. You learn a lot from losing. You don't want to lose, but losing is like losing is like pressure to a piece of coal. It makes a diamond. You need to have that, losses sometimes. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, they don't make every shot, so to speak.
No.
But so yeah, when the topic came up, participation awards, I lost my crap. I'm like, why am I even talking about it? I was going to flip this desk. So, the old school Jersey in me is like, hey, we don't give participation awards to these freaking kids. Hey, don't be a little sissy.
No, because we didn't get them.
Right. But then I said to myself, you know what? Any success that I have in my life actually was because, and I'm thinking a participation award now in a bigger panning here, is that I got a lot of participation awards, not formally, but I got participation awards verbally from my grandmother, my mother, my teachers. Like, hey, great job, Anthony. That's a participation award, by the way. It's verbal. It's not a certificate, but someone giving you an award of sorts because you showed up, because you made a nice piece of art in class, or you improved. That's an award that bolsters kids. So after I got done pulling the hair out of my head, I said, you know what? No, I'm wrong. Actually, participation awards are a great thing. And basically kind of what you're saying, Steph, like, especially when they're younger, life is already tough enough. Don't worry. Our kids are going to get crapped on their whole life. Okay. They don't need mommy and daddy and aunts and uncles and coaches and teachers to crap on them. There's going to be enough destruction in their life. So the least we can do is not blow smoke up their backsides, but, hey, recognize whatever it is that they did and celebrate that portion of it. So they could have lost the soccer game. Hey, but you know what? That pass you did in the 5th minute, that was a good pass. Like, kids, they're not dumb. They would appreciate that and say, okay, fair enough, mommy. Okay, thanks, dad. But you can't be like, you did amazing. You were the best, dad. We lost by 10 points. Like, but so maybe try to pick out what, like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, your artwork is improving. You're not going to tell the kid, yeah, you're a Picasso. You're the best. The kid knows they're not good at art. But yeah. I mean, like, how you're improving, like you said, the award for most improved, whatever. Like, but to give our kids also the verbal affirmation, that's an award. That's a participation award, And so I think about my grandmother used to shower me with these awards. My mom too, like these awards. You're so funny, or you're a good looking boy, or even if I didn't feel that or not, and I guess. Even if the kid knows you're blowing smoke, I think deep down our kids, they love that. They may say, "Oh, quiet, mom. I'm not good at that." But I think about when we were kids. How did we feel when, or even adults? Like, hey, man, this was a really great meal. And now you might not have thought you made a good meal. I might not have thought I made a good meal. But subconscious, there's some again, it's a hard place, this world. And you. People can make the inverse argument. Well, I got to be tough because of that reason, because life is tough. I got to make sure my kids are tough at home so that when they get out there, it's going to be easier. Yes and no. I mean, you have to thread the needle, like if you're going to be tough on your kid, okay. So for every 10th tough comment you give them, maybe throw them a nice comment, like you can't be tough on your kids all day long and never ever say anything nice. Like, and it doesn't have to be that they earned it. Even just they improved on something, or, you like the way they made that tackle, or, like, again, like, hey, you were doing a B minus. Hey, that's amazing. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be because you were A plus valedictorian. So I think that, I coach tennis and I compete in tournaments and stuff. And now when I coach, I bring that to my coaching and I tell these kids, even if they had a bad practice, you know what? Okay, it was great to see you guys. We had fun. You improved. I always make sure I verbally say that, because, again, I'm not going to sit there and say, yeah, you're Serena Williams. No, I'm not going to say that. But hey, great job today. You improved today incrementally, but you did it. You did it. I look forward to seeing you. Like, because that's what I think made me this success that I have, whatever that is. That's what gave me that, is that my coaches and teachers and parents and grandparents, maybe sometimes they leaned a little bit to blowing smoke up my backside. But you know what? What's so bad about that? This world is so tough, so vicious. So what if your kids get a little bit of smoke up their backside from you that maybe they didn't earn? But, you're amazing. You're the best one out there. Better that than they never hear anything from you,
Yeah.
or all you do is crap on them. So if you're going to pick, hey, better to say that they're the most beautiful person, they're the most handsome, that they're the smartest, even if they're pulling straight Fs. Better that than all you do is crap on them. This world is tough enough. Sorry, Steph, go ahead.
I agree. I mean, what you're talking about, verbal affirmation or validation, yeah, I agree with that. Do that all day.
Yeah.
I don't just tell my kid she's amazing. Well, maybe I do. Sometimes I do. But I tell her more specifically what she's amazing at.
Right.
Or what she's improved at.
Right.
I do give her specifics, because especially as a teenager, she'll call bullshit. Like she does,
she's smart enough. She's old enough.
Yeah, she's not dealing with, she'll tell me straight out, no, mine was not the best.
Right.
So and so's was clearly much better than mine.
Yeah.
And I'll say, well, yeah, maybe her artwork is more professional looking than yours, but yours has, the element of humor that I love to see, or
Right, exactly.
you've improved so much over the last painting that you did,
right.
or whatever it was. Like,
right.
yours is really interesting.
Right.
So, and that's real. So,
right. And I'm not saying celebrate Fs. I'm not saying celebrate
no.
in lacrosse or tennis. Hey, inversely, hey, honey, or hey, buddy, yeah, okay, this stinks. I'm upset too that we lost, and don't even try to we'll get them next time. Just be in the moment. This stinks, and maybe just be there for them. Don't say anything. Just this stinks. I'm bummed out too that we lost, or I'm really disappointed in you that you got this F, and no one's saying don't criticize the kids and don't be upset, and losing stinks. Don't hide from it. Don't be like, it's just a game. No, this stinks. I wanted to win too. I'm upset about this. And I wouldn't even talk about, we'll get them next time. You talk about that tomorrow, but this stinks now. This hurts.
Yeah.
There's a phrase, I think it's called like embrace the suck, just don't run away from it. That's the other thing I would say too. Yeah. I think sometimes we shield our kids also from hurt and pain, and loss, like, yeah, this stinks. I'm sorry you broke up with your girlfriend or boyfriend. I'm sorry that, this stinks, like, and maybe just put your arm around them, or just, hey, you want to go out for a soda or something, like, yeah, don't run away from the hurt and pain either, because that's also, kind of like blowing smoke the inverse way, but well, all I'm saying is weekly there should be affirmation. There should be participation awards of sorts, and I think, yeah, formal participation awards are okay too. Like, hey, you completed the football season or the soccer season, here's the certificate. Like, that's an accomplishment too, by the way, so.
Yeah. I'm all about the certificate that says you were there and you completed whatever the assignment was, or whatever the sport was, or whatever it is. But as far as like the trophies go, I think, specific, whatever. But validation, yeah, every day, I think you should validate your kids in some sort of way, because they do something great every day.
And by the way, we all do, even adults, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you think like, well, once you're 18, then screw you. There's no more need to. And again, life is learning. I'm still learning. I'm going to learn till the day I die. And I think hopefully we all will. Yeah, I mean, like I said to you today, Steph, thanks for coming on, or off camera. Like, I'm not trying to blow smoke. I really mean that. I'm not going to sit here and say every second, oh, you're amazing, Steph. But it's like, hey, and if you and I had a beef privately, I would say, hey, Steph, I I'm not down with this, or I didn't like that, I would do that. Thank God we don't. I never
Yeah.
had to have that conversation with
I
you.
know.
No, but yeah, I know that also if you had a beef with me, you would pull me aside and say, "Hey, look, can I just talk to you?" Like I know you would do that, and that's why I would think you and I have a good friendship because it's not BS, so it's
No,
not
it's very real.
phoniness, and I think that's what kids want. Kids want right, mom and dad and family to be real, but hey, like you said, every day there could be something that we can say something like, "Hey, that was thanks for helping me out today with the
Right.
dinner. You were so quick to set the table. That was awesome." Like
Yeah, I mean, listen,
a
every single
participation award.
day, I think there's like, a lot of negativity in our kids' lives.
Oh,
Um,
humans, adults too. Yeah, it's just
yeah.
more
So,
than ever.
you have to sometimes say, you know what, and I catch myself too, because sometimes I'm like, oh, you didn't take out the garbage, you didn't do this. And I'm like, oh my God, say something nice, pick something nice, and then I'll catch myself and I try to think of something like that because you can get caught up in that, because
It's a
you're on that
spiral,
wheel.
negative spiral, right? Or it could be and I think sometimes it's easier to get into a negative spiral than a positive spiral, like for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think sometimes when we shit on our kids, it's because we're not happy. So we take it out
Oh,
on
for sure. We're
the,
stressed.
our kids. We take it out on the people who can't fight back, so to speak. And that's not right either. To take it out on whatever your employees or your players or your students or your children. Hey, you're not happy. You need to go rectify that somehow. But it's yeah. So kids got a lot, man. I think we take for granted that kids go through a lot too. They're human, by the way. And we were
Yeah.
all kids at one time. But it's funny growing up, my old man would never like, I would have to cure cancer to maybe get good job. Like seriously, like I had to pull some like big rabbits out of the hat to get this guy to say like anything. My mother, forget it. You woke up today? The way you woke up. Oh my God, he wakes up. It's just the way he wakes up. It's like he floats. He's a man. It's just like, it's true. Like
So you got a good balance.
I swear to God, thank God for my parents because if I had to live, if both parents were like the other parent, like if I had both, smoke blowers like my mom, that wouldn't work out. And if I had both, stoic, cold-hearted Vietnam War vets for parents, that wouldn't work out either. But they were a good yin and yang. My old man was like, hey, yeah, whatever. Like, it's just nothing impresses my old man. So it's like, forget it. Like I put myself through college. Okay, you know this. I don't know if my dad even said good job. I'm like, bro, like you understand the Herculean effort it is to not only go to college but pay cash as you go, my man. Like,
It's a big accomplishment.
right. But again, this is a guy. My old man, was an orphan his whole life. Grew up in Hell's Kitchen. Did a tour in Vietnam. Had Charlie trying to kill him. So yeah, unless I was an astronaut or again cured cancer, maybe I would get a good job. And again, my dad loves me. I love him. But yeah, so he's hardcore. But my mom, forget it. Like again, it's just.
But when he said good job, you knew he meant it.
Oh yeah, if my old man laughs, even to this day, if I make my dad laugh, like it's legit. Because my old man would never laugh for anything. So if I got my father laughing, even to this day, like, okay, Anthony's funny because he got his dad to laugh. My mother, again, like, oh, you flushed the bulb? God almighty, baby. Love you. It's just like, oh, cut it out, Ma. It's like, but yeah, so it's a weird, but it's all good. It makes for some good comedy. I should probably do a skip on those two.
You probably should.
But yeah, and we had teachers like that too, right? You and I went to the same school system and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think about some of these teachers, that were like my father, like Coach P, I'll just, like the phys ed teacher, who he is.
Yeah.
Very much like my dad, Vietnam War guy. And, you could forget it. You could lift 1,000 pounds and score 1,000 points and what, nothing to this guy, And then you had, I'm trying to think who was a teacher of ours that would, without giving their full name, would give like I'm trying to think, Mr. Winditto, that's his nickname, Winditto from high school. Mr. W, history teacher.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of like that. Like he thought I was the greatest thing since sliced bread. He would literally in history class give me 5 minutes at the beginning of every class to do comedy. Stand up. I'd be like, all right, come on, Anthony, get up in front of the room.
Yeah, I could see that.
He would literally, I'd be doing stand up before history started. So Mr. W, Mr. Winditto was his nickname because he always gave out ditto copies instead of like whatever.
Yeah.
Winditto was kind of like my mom in that way. Like he always would just shower me, edify me, shower me with compliments. I'm like, bro, I'm failing your class. Don't you see? Oh, you're a man. I'll tell you, this guy, he's great. He's great. He's great. He's great. Yeah. So I don't know, but
Yeah, and you remember those teachers, like you
oh,
remember the ones that I don't know, you just put in their extra, effort for you. Like for me, it was definitely like Mr. B was one of them
yeah. V was
for
good.
sure.
Yeah.
And Mr. W who taught chorus.
Oh, yes. I
Oh
see
my
him now.
gosh,
Yeah.
such a great guy. And honestly,
Right, he's
when I was
one of
in
those
high school,
guys that was very, always right, a gentle giant, so to speak. Yeah,
this is a true story. When I was in high school, I was a smoker. We
we
talked
talked
about
about
that.
that. Great
Um,
idea, fabulous idea. I was laughing when you told me, you're like, I kicked it for 20 years, and I said, you know what? Let me go back to it. I'm like, excellent idea.
yeah, I kicked it. Um, but a lot of it had to do with him. He was on me every single day about
Stop,
that.
to stop.
To stop, yeah. And he would try so many different ways. He would be like, you're so smart. You shouldn't be doing that. And I was like,
Yeah, you're
that
right.
didn't really do it for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
You're such a pretty girl, and I was like, that didn't
Yeah.
really do it for
You're like,
me.
I know I got all those in spades, son.
He tried a whole bunch of different things, but then he pulled the whole, you know, and singing was one of the things that I love to do almost above everything else.
Right.
He was like, you're going to damage your
Vocal
vocal
cords. Yeah.
cords.
Then you stop cold turkey. Like,
And I was like, wait, what?
I have vocal cords. What?
And he's like, yeah, you'd actually be a better singer and you'd have better,
Pipes.
um, yeah, you'd be able to do a lot more if you quit. And so I was like, huh. Well, that definitely,
Got your attention.
got to me. So I did. I quit. And a couple of years ago, you guys all went to one of the sports award ceremonies.
And he was there.
He was there,
Right.
and he spoke to another one of our classmates, who and he said, "Is Stephanie still smoking?"
Funny.
Even after like all of these
You
years, they
remembered that.
still
Right.
remember that.
How
Yeah.
much you cared about the
So
kids and you and yeah. Yeah. And by the way, not to take away anything from people like Coach P, who are like my dad, very tough. But they also, I think, help us in their own way also. It's I think you need the yin and the yang, but
yeah, you need the teachers who are tough. You need the ones that are more approachable. I think all of it together teaches a lot of life lessons.
right.
Yeah.
Hence 100%. This is why not to sound cliche, but it does take a village. It takes grandparents, it takes coaches and teachers and uncles and aunts, and everyone does their own small part or big part, whatever, but yeah. And our kids also can teach us a lot about us, if we pay attention, because we don't know it all. I've learned a lot through, being a parent, and it's humbling. Sometimes as parents, we don't want to admit it, but, if you're smart, you pay attention and you think to yourself in your own private moments, yeah, you know what, maybe my kid was right about that or this, and so, but yeah, it's all life is, it's a learning thing, but yeah. Oh man, I love Mr. W. Yeah, he coaches tennis too, by the way, so I bump into him a lot.
Well, when you see him, tell him I said hello. And that I
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, she's still not smoking, but
correct.
But anyway, Steph, I'm gonna let you go because I know we were kind of running over the half-hour thingy there, and I know you got a lot going on. A mother's work is never done.
Never done.
Never done. Big shout out to moms out there, Mommy Mondays. Check back in every Monday, Mommy Mom. And don't forget, folks, share this with your friends. Come on, you can share, click share, and say, watch this show. It's amazing. And even dads watch it, I heard. So, which is great. And the kids watch it. So share it, like it, hit the subscribe, hit the notification, all these buttons you got to hit. And, anyways, we got a great show, a bunch of shows coming up this week also. Something tomorrow and Wednesday, and we got therapists coming on, athletes, everyday people like us, and who else I got coming on? I got a bunch of shows. Okay, it's the highest rated show at 2:00 in this.
Of course it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, the numbers are climbing, so it's really cool, and it's a lot of fun, and it's informative not only for the viewers but for us too. I get a lot out of it, and so anyways, thank you, Steph. Thank you, everybody. Check back in, and yeah, thanks again, everybody. Have a good week. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.